What's up, girl? How you doing?
I'm fine.
Uh, you look like you were at happy hour and your boss called and was like, "Hey, I need you to come back and go over this last spreadsheet with me." And you go, "Fine, I don't care." What's going on, Mama? I missed you.
Um, Everything's going great, but if you guys didn't know, does everyone feel like the chat is working properly? I want to make sure because yesterday they didn't feel that way.
Yes.
Okay,
And
smash the
you,
like button.
Tori, and I'll tell you this. First of all, shout out Brandon. Yes, please like and subscribe. We need you guys to tell people so people can find us. Tori, I'm getting mad at myself yesterday because I was like, I swear I'm in the right room, but I didn't see any chat. And usually there's like a chat, and I was just like, we were at Showtime, and I was like, there's no, I'm in the wrong room, and it was the chat that was wrong. The chat was messed up yesterday.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah, that
okay.
because I was reading the comments before we started the show, and people were saying, like Julia says, hopefully the chat will work today. Emlo said, chat was crazy yesterday. I could see mine stacked up, but very few of everyone else. And I mean, you guys don't understand how much I internalize failure. So even when I go pick SAR up at 5 o'clock, I'm like, I don't want to do the show. I was so mad. I was fuming. And now I feel better that it was StreamYard.
Al, you're always in the wrong room, says Wisdom with Mrs. C. I agree. But you know what?
Yeah,
He's in the room, that room, whatever room Al's in, he's in the right room. I need to be honest with you guys.
you should
Al,
be my press secretary.
totally.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Totally. I do need to be honest with you guys. First of all, happy Friday, Junior. We had one of my favorite brands on Colorado and Company. They're going to be on tomorrow. You're going to see it. It's called Red Rocks Vodka. And
Shout
how
out.
cool you can see that cool Red Rocks there. They're the official vodka of DU,
Yeah,
of the
Denver University.
Pioneers.
Yeah.
And
You
they
said it like
gave
it was an online university that Ted Cruz hawks or something.
Well, anyway, they were on the show. They brought in some whiskey, some vodka. We're gonna do some giveaways, you guys. But I had a few drinks because Jazz was also in the studio from the Langston Hughes Project, Dr. Ron McCurdy, and he was reading poetry and playing the trumpet. So there's a lot of like cool like bar stuff happening, and I'm a tiniest bit tipsy.
Yes, that usually the person that hears that aren't colleagues. They're the police officer that's nodding as
I
another
didn't drive
patrol
home.
car pulls up behind you. Yes, of course I know you didn't drive, but like whenever, yeah, feeling no pain. That phrase was said by a bouncer at the Tampa Bay Improv 15 years ago, and I've said it ever since. I
First
it,
time I met you, you're like, that guy's feeling no
yeah,
pain.
I'll tell you what it is. I don't care. I mean, he wouldn't be mad. It was do you remember Gary Valentine? He was Kevin James' brother. He was like on King of Queens as like a cousin or something. But anyway, he was like King of Queens was so popular, even the side characters were popular. And so yeah, it was him. Gary was like a little guy like Kevin, and he would get it in before the show, and I'd be like, "We got two. You got to talk for 2 hours, bro." You know, like I'm not anybody's daddy. I'm drinking too. I'm just like, dude, I can fake it.
I
You
can
got,
fake it too. I can fake it,
yeah.
I can make it, and I'm excited. But
And
anyway,
Tori,
guys,
this is like a throwback to Tipsy Tori, which was an original premise of
that's
yours.
correct. I gave you tips while being tipsy. It's on YouTube. You guys should like it. They also have whiskey if you guys are not a vodka drinker. And I have 4 of these to give away. We will come up with maybe like a riddle you have to solve or something. We just don't have that yet. But I want to give a shout out to Red Rock Spirits. They've been really good to us, and we're going to do a giveaway.
Yes. And some friends from work goes, "What's your BAC, hun?" Do you know why I love Sar and her friends? Is one of her friends who I love, no names, no names. She got into breathalyzing herself at the like when they're out, and so just they take their BAC while they're out, and then
I
report
think a
back to
lot of
me.
people do that.
I didn't know people like had a breathalyzer with them when they went out for drinks. Is
I
that
think
a
that's become more normal. And also, Julia says, are you ready for this, Al? Me too, Tor. I went out to lunch and had a Hefe beer.
oh, there we go. Julia, yes.
I
Get it
can't wait.
in.
I'm so excited for today's show.
Yeah, I am I'm very happy that my girl is tipsy on a Friday. Junior, Tori, you missed a lot yesterday. I talked about how, I talked to my daughter. She's in Philly. It was freezing cold. But you know what I realized, and this might be too deep for the intro, is that my sons are very special and unique individuals, and my daughter is me.
Oh, really?
We are so much alike. It is, she is a much better. You remember like Terminator 2, that Terminator was way better than the stiff Arnold. That's how she is. She's like, oh, that's me without all the damage and self-loathing. Yeah,
Baggage.
yeah, yeah, all the baggage. Yeah, she just is. And I was just like, she grew up West Coast and then down south, Georgia. And I was like, how are you dealing with that weather? And she was like, at first it was really rough, but I kind of like it. It toughens you up. And I was like, there we go. The beginnings of an East Coaster. She's she's a real one. She's like very sweet and quiet in a few words, but she's a super tough but sweet person. And it's a really and you have a personality like that too, where you were very sweet to people, but there's an internal strength to you as well.
I hope there is. I don't know if there is, but I hope there is.
If there wasn't, we wouldn't be doing the show right now.
Okay.
I would be asking somebody when visitor hours are. And you're like, I'm ready to do the show. We haven't done DBL for 18 years, Tori. I know, but tomorrow I'm ready. No, you're a tough girl, and I love you, and I respect you, straight up.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. All right. And you turn that a lot into, a couple different syllables. Now, Tori, what do you got going on this weekend? Because I'm dipping out to Arizona. This is Sarah's Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year's, spring training starts. So we're going to Arizona. This is her Mecca. So yeah, I'll be down there watching some minor league baseball in like smaller stadiums. You should go with us next year.
I would love to. I wonder if you could tell us from Arizona if you want to do a show or not, but how big the Nancy Guthrie case is looming in Arizona. I would love to hear that.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I mean, I can, I'm doing nothing. Of course, right. I can, especially after we can hop on maybe in early morning. You guys check and see if there's an alert. Probably Saturday because the games don't start till later. So yeah, and Sarah, do you have to, like, a lot of people, their spouses are like, do you have to always do like Sarah? When we went to Key West for Christmas Eve, she was like, "You're gonna do a show, right? Are you gonna be a puss? You're not gonna do one? No, okay, puss, go ahead." And next thing you know, I'm like, "What's up, colleagues?" Yeah, Sarah will make sure. So yeah, I love now. What is Michael Dean saying? I hear Savannah is heading back to New York City to be back with her family. That's got to be tough.
Wow, that's definitely meaning something where she doesn't need to be in Arizona at the moment. Wow, yeah. That's really tough. I do want to say to Colleen Kennedy, she said she saw Stevie Nicks at Red Rocks, which is, can you imagine? Oh my, that's amazing. That's unbelievable.
You have to go as long as you are healthy and able-bodied, and sometimes even when you're not. You got to go. Red Rocks has a ton of space, and I'm sure other venues do too, for people in wheelchairs. If that means, hey, I take a half step every hour, get there at 10 a.m. You'll be there for showtime. It's very important to hear live music around people. It's sports gets all the love, but like sometimes you go to a concert and you're like, this is a special thing going on, and it's just for us, and it only exists now. So
that's exactly right.
Yeah. All right. Well, Tori, do you have any thing to report? You have some organizers coming this weekend, something I'd never heard of. Why don't you talk to the colleagues about what's happening this weekend?
So I'm going out with friends on Saturday, and then I'm trying to make plans maybe with Michael Dean on Saturday night, whatever. But Sunday I have the B organizers, BEE, like bzz. Yeah, bzz, the bees. Okay. Anyway, you guys know when, wake up, Al, wake up. You guys know when you're in like kind of a depression, you kind of like, it's really hard to like make your space special.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It becomes a reflection of how you feel inside. Absolutely.
Totally. So I'm asking them to come. It's just a few hours, and they've been on my show. They're excellent. If you're in Denver, they're really great. BEE organizers. And they're just going to help me so that I feel like my space can be clear and I have clarity, and they're going to help me with some things that are hard to put away. And like for my mom, so that I don't have to go through every single thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm getting that done on Sunday, and then speaking to a life coach on Sunday night.
Okay. All right. Well, that's cool. Our friend of the show, Corinne, just texted us. My ringer is still on.
Okay.
So we are going to trivia tonight. Before we get to our main story, we want to say prayers up and a peaceful transition to friend of the show, our former producer, Chris Clark. His mother passed away at how old, Tori?
102.
102. A great lady, a life well lived. And we're going to name our trivia team after her tonight. So, yes, shout out. What a great woman. And both his parents lived pretty long. His dad just passed away. And I think they were both his dad was like 90 something, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just saying, like, he only made it to like 95. Yes. Shout out to them. They lived an incredible life. All right, Tori, let's do it, bro. Now, Tori, I would disappoint Michael Dean if I forgot to ask you what'd you take away from the State of the Union before we get to the Epstein files?
I thought it was very long. I thought it was a pretty bloated speech. I think Al Green holding up a sign that says Black people aren't apes was a big moment. And then Republican Congress people tried to rip it away from him. Right. He was escorted out of the building, obviously. But I thought it was interesting when Elizabeth Warren and a lot of Democrats stood up. Was a moment that I thought was fascinating. Trump wants to end insider trading for Congress people, including many of the Democrats that have also had a issue with insider trading. So Elizabeth Warren stood up, Democrats stood up, and he was like, oh, look at that. And then he said, did Nancy Pelosi stand up? Because she's well known as being someone that made a lot of money on the stock market from that.
Right.
But
did Marjorie Taylor Greene stand up?
She's gone. She's not there. But
I know, but Nancy Pelosi's gone too.
True. Michael Dean wants to know, did Dems make a mistake not standing when Trump asked about protecting American citizens?
I don't think so. I think it was obviously very coercive, and it was a way to make your opponent, because there's long been this thing where I felt that as we've gotten deeper and deeper into political discourse, it's not like, oh, Tory disagrees with me on school funding. It's now Tory eats babies. Al wants all insert religion here to die. And it's like, and so he knows his base. And so he can now go, I guess Democrats don't care about kids. I guess Democrats don't care if you get the things that he was saying was very, and you know who he got that from. And I thought about you, Tori, was when Biden made them stand up for Social Security and said, which one of you guys will go up to Social Security? And they were like, note to self. And the best form of compliments is redoing it your way.
Yeah, that's how the phrase goes. That's it. You said it perfect.
How does it go? I forgot, my brain's the best form of.
The best compliment is flattery is the best form of compliments.
No, that's wrong too, buddy, lady in red. Let's go to our colleagues, because Lord knows we're dumb. Flattery is the highest form of
no copying.
Imitation is the best. Yes, Julia, that's what we said. Wow. That's why we got a deep bench on the show. Sometimes you go, our starters are sucking today. Pull them. If Julia did the show, if Michael Dean was like, I'm subbing Julia in, I think me and Tori would be like, all right, you could have given us.
And she's had a Hefe beer. I'd be like,
yeah, we were just warming up.
Julia.
All right, Tori, now we got to talk about the Epstein files. Have you heard of them?
No, who's Epstein?
It's so weird. It's this new story. The DOJ is going to recheck the Epstein files release after missing, and that's in quotes, FBI interview reports are flagged. Tori, the Justice Department says it is reviewing whether some Epstein-related interview reports were improperly tagged and left out of the public release. How could we, including records tying to an uncorroborated allegation involving President Trump? If the DOJ can miss 50 plus pages, what else are they missing, Tori? And at this point, is public trust kaput.
Yes.
Yeah. What if you just then turned your camera off?
I'm gone. I need to leave.
I'd be like, you guys heard her.
You mean the Surgeon General right now that's being questioned by the Congress is not even a licensed doctor at this point. So we're beyond not trusting.
He's like Dr. Phil?
She is. And she's like, I don't have a license, but Dr. Dre. That'd be great. Anyway, let's talk about this. Something tells me that they realize they're in deep doo-doo when they admit to a mistake. So when they say we're rechecking or there's something missing, that would have dropped within the next week. That would have leaked. The New York Times has it, the Post. When stuff like this happens in such an adamant administration, they have already known that the news was going to get it. The press has it. Somebody has it. Ro Khanna, Thomas Massie, somebody has it. So this was coming out regardless. The DOJ is rechecking that because there's several things missing with Trump and not only money, but with children and sexual assault. And somebody has it and is willing to release it. So they are going to check that again. But I just want you guys to all know that Ro Khanna, who's a congressman, Thomas Massie, Republican, Ro Khanna, Democrat, they made something called the Epstein Transparency Act, in which you couldn't redact politicians and you had to redact victims or survivors. And they did the opposite. So they've broken a law that was passed. And at this point, they are on the edge of criminal activity at the DOJ. And Pam Bondi knows it. There's been reports that she will see the inside of a jail cell if she doesn't start doing things correctly, contempt of Congress. So just know that they are on the ropes. Is that what you call it? On the ropes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think they're on the ropes means like it's a boxing term, like you're getting pummeled and you're on the ropes.
Yeah, you're on the ropes. Yeah. So they something is about to come out and they want to get ahead of the story. So just remember, during all of Nixon, no one went to jail except for his attorney general. I'll always say that. And she knows she's in deep, deep doo-doo. So anyway, right. That's what's going to come out. And I think it's going to be pretty bad. I just also want to remind people in New Mexico, they started looking at Epstein's ranch called the Zorro Ranch for bodies.
Yes. I mean, that is, I was talking to a friend of mine last night and I just said, where are all these victims? Because the accusation that you're talking about that they missed, that they are now saying, oh, we're going to release that accusation is from like 1985 or 1986. I mean, this goes back beyond the internet. This was, this person was interviewed 4 times. So clearly they were deemed credible. And that accusation matched a call placed and on a tip line. So clearly there is some merit here. And the police at that time, almost how long ago is that? Almost 50 years ago? 50 years ago. No, it's 50 years ago.
No.
1985 to now?
44 years ago, 45 years ago.
Almost 50 years ago.
45.
Glad you derailed me. Even back then, they found it to be credible. And I don't even think that they were being very secretive when it came to, they announced 3 months ago that they had FBI agents and were hiring in people to work round the clock to redact his name. And I'm sure at a certain point they were like, this entire page is about him. We can't even redact. So now you just got to delete. And I think that that's where we are. But what they try to do and what I figured would happen is people have had access to these files, Tori, for years. So it's like if I give you my phone for whatever reason, we're doing some work on the podcast and you have access to it for a long time, you download stuff, and Sar wants to see my phone and I've deleted some text I just don't want her to see. And she goes, I swear I saw a text that I didn't like. And then you go, oh, I have that downloaded. Here's the actual list, non-deleted. All these people have seen this. And so the idea of just deleting your phone, first of all, it never works in real life when you're cheating. Guys, your girls are not dumb. They figured that out like 10 years ago. But yeah, check your deleted files, fella, and then call a lawyer.
And it's not just America, Al. Iran has said that they have videos. France has said that they have videos. England is releasing Andrew's videos. They said they will be releasing Andrew's videos and photos. That is what taking accountability looks like. We're going to see some sick ass photos with Andrew on all fours on top of a passed out girl, and they're releasing that.
Yeah.
And that's part of their royalty and monarchy. Like, good for them for owning up to accountability. We haven't even asked Leslie Wexner, who's been seen as a co-conspirator, what his deal. No one even has talked to him. So I just applaud.
I saw one interview with him, and he was doing what I knew he was going to pull. The same thing, and I blew a gasket when this guy was let off. The CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, who was, because it was kind of running concurrently with the Diddy situation, but Diddy was obviously had a much higher social profile, and the guy from Abercrombie and Fitch was forcing young male models into sexual acts that they did not want to participate in, and he had armed gunmen in the room. Wow. And when he finally came, it came for him to be held to account for those charges. They were like, he's experiencing the first few stages of senility, is not fit to stand trial. And he flew away in a private jet, and you've never heard of him again.
Wow.
And I saw the Leslie Wexner had an attorney literally in his ear, and he's just kind of like,
did you hear what it was?
What was he saying?
So they have the audio. It was a hot mic issue.
I didn't
verbatim. Are you guys ready?
So bad at everything, Tori.
You're so bad. I do not mean to curse, and I'm not a cursor, but this is what he said. I will take you down if you say one more fucking sentence that has more than 5 words in it. And he Leslie laughed and looked at him, but it was like a direct threat to shut his mouth because he kept talking and talking and talking, but there's so much to hide there. And it was incredibly, you could see the lawyer just being like, do not say one word more. You're on the edge of putting yourself in confession. It was like that. So it was very, very interesting. But yeah, other countries at this point have taken, the Norwegian prime minister was not only let go, he was arrested.
Wow.
And yeah. It's like, not us, not even an interview.
Well, so, I mean, but again, they have people in positions of power that care about the dignity and the structure of this organization moving forward. If everybody in the organization only cares about themselves in this moment, that they could care less if the whole thing falls apart like a house of cards 60 seconds after they're out the door. And I think other countries have the foresight to be like, hey, this was a really bad mess up. We have an incredibly flawed political organization in office, and there's a lot more steps that they could be taking. I've always questioned the Democrats and their real push for this, because I know that they have to wait till the midterms, but I would let them know the day that we are back in power in any way, Pam Bondi, we're going to see you. We're going to see you, sis. And yes, we're going to make sure it's state charges. We're going to make sure that there is not a way for you to be pardoned because we learned our lesson. Maybe you should have learned it the first time, Merrick Garland. But, that's all water under the bridge. And what is so important, Tori, moving forward, is giving people the idea that Democrats actually give an F. Because right now I think that there's more internet sleuthers that have gone out of their way to find things than Hakeem Jeffries. Where is he?
People say he's in the Epstein files, and I'm not even kidding you. I do want to tell you one last thing is that Larry Summers, very famous at Harvard, has been all over the Epstein files. He himself has resigned. And so you see private institutions taking accountability we see that. The Sultan was arrested and stepped down from DP World, which was a global enterprise. But again, nothing within our Department of Justice. And you started this podcast by asking me, do we have trust in our government? This is why we don't. This is why we don't.
I will say this, and we're going to move on. But the one thing that I do have faith in is that these are people that are incapable of thinking about anybody but themselves, including Donald Trump. And what I mean by that is people flipped on Al Capone, and Al Capone could do a lot. People flipped on El Chapo. those are people that could do a lot more damage
Yeah.
to you than Donald Trump could. He could get some negative emails and texts sent to you. El Chapo's coming for everybody's head, the kids too. And people still flipped on them because there was enough pressure applied to the right people.
That's
you
right.
go after the accountants, you go after the middlemen, the hitmen, and once that starts to topple, once me and Tori are kind of co-conspirators, and I've heard that Tori is snitching for a better deal, I already was not your best friend. Now I'm like, and then she told me to do this. Go on. There's a key under her mat. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to start. So, like, if any pressure is applied, these people clearly can't defend themselves, Pam Bondi, but the Dow.
Totally.
You know,
But
so like, yeah, let's get them out there and get them talking. And speaking about talking, Tori, a former Secretary of State's been doing that today. All right, Tori. Today, Hillary Clinton was deposed in the Epstein probes. It was behind closed doors, but have you heard the latest on this story as of like maybe the last 2 hours?
Tell me.
A photo leaked through Republican lines, forms of communication, has leaked of her. It's a still photo of her in the deposition. Nothing untoward, but just like a leaking of that photo that was supposed to be behind closed doors after she asked for it to be public. And at that point, Hillary was like, her lawyers are like, hell no, because this got out. And her lawyers are like, no. So they called a halt to the meeting or to the deposition. A couple hours later, this happened like 3 hours ago. Her people then come back in and request again for a public deposition. And they were like, nah, it's private. So what do you take from that?
First of all, Jerry Schulman's law firm are her attorneys.
Jerry, let's go. Oh, it was Lauren Boebert. It wasn't Hillary Clinton. Oh, Lauren Boebert leaked the picture, I believe. I'm 99%. Yeah, well, she passed it on. I don't know if she took it, but yeah, it was yeah. Boebert posted it or something. Michael Dean, let us know if that's correct.
Yes, she leaked it.
She leaked it. Okay, yeah.
Wow. Shared a photograph of her answering questions, which was posted on. Wow. Now Boebert could be held within contempt of Congress, which, by the way, is either a fine or you can go to jail. But I wonder if she didn't know she couldn't, like that she's so dumb that she didn't know she couldn't. But they're going to try and throw everything at the Clintons, and the Clintons desperately wanted this to be public. It is on camera, so we're going to be able to, like, it is recorded and we can be able to see it at some point. But the Republicans have such a strange conspiracy theory with Hillary Clinton. And a lot of it has to do with Pizzagate, which was that pizza store Comet. They thought she was holding a pedophilia ring in the basement of Comet, which is a pizza store right by my house in DC. And someone came in with...
stop calling it a pizza store. It's a pizza shop.
Okay.
Pizza store. You can get pizza curtains and pizza earrings. It's a pizza place. Welcome to the world. What are you, like an alien in a human skin? I went to the pizza store with my male companion. He ordered 2 slices of pizza product.
We had one alcohol. Okay, I'm so embarrassed. As Julie said, the committee said they'll release the video of the Clintons later, but it turns out pizza is like a code word.
Absolutely.
During this pedophilia ring, which is very ironic. But the Republicans are going to try and get any way to discredit the Clintons or take them down, because they've got some things to say and they have some dirt on Trump. Let's all understand, Clinton was at the Epstein Island. He was on the plane. He's in the pictures. If anybody knows, it's Bill Clinton, and he's promised to go nuclear on what actually happened. So I think these are tactics to try and, hit them where they're at, or break the rules, or show them that like they're in charge. And it's like the Clintons have gone through Lewinsky. They've been through a lot. They've been through Rwanda genocide and why they didn't do anything, which I still hold them accountable for. But I don't think this will phase them. I think they're ready for any kind of like Republican moves. And I think they're ready to take him down. I hope so. When Bill Clinton comes up and testifies on camera about what happened, I want to be like this, just like popcorn, like what is happening? He knows where all the bodies are buried. Some of the most important testimony we will ever hear in American history will come from that man in this testimony. So,
yeah. I think you're exactly right. I think it is a tactic. And I think even the leaking of the photo was almost like a last ditch effort because they wanted her to go, oh, see, they're leaking stuff already. Deposition over.
Right.
But she came back. And that's why she was like, no, let's make it public. And they're like, nah. And I think their incentive for that is we want to control the narrative. I can't have you going off script on a script that I can't control. I could, if you and I had a disagreement over this podcast and the colleagues are like, what's happening? We want to see you guys air it out. And I'll be like, no, I'm going to take parts of Tori's transcript. And if you say, Al, you are the greatest liar in podcast history, I could come out and put that together and be like, Tori said I'm the greatest in podcast history. You can take things in and out that you want. Totally. And by the time that is clarified on the record, people will be 2 weeks deeper into the news cycle and no one will care. They realize the first thing is the truth. And They can't have Hillary Clinton and Bill having their first crack at the truth. And I think that's what that picture was for, to just let them know we're going to be leaking stuff and it's not going to make you look favorable. And Hillary's like, bring it on.
Totally. So, Bill and Hillary are Yale attorneys. Like they're ready for a Lauren Boebert to leak a photo. You know what I mean? They're ready for this. And by the way, someone wrote, Bill knows how to dance around a question. These are questions he doesn't want to dance around. He wants Trump in the ground. He wants to be able to bury him to get enough to impeach him. This is his moment. And Bill Clinton has the ego the size of Australia. And so for him to be in that moment and be able to have the eyes back on him and to stand up for himself and say, here's what this guy did, that crowning glory. This is
would he say something that could potentially get him in trouble?
In my mind, he would. In my mind, he would.
All right. Well, let's see. This is nothing else. It is exciting.
Someone wrote, it's called a pizzeria.
I don't know if I've ever called it a pizzeria. I feel like I would only call it an Italian one pizzeria, where it's like
when I lived in New York and went to like the Lower East Side, I would be like, yeah, we're going to a pizzeria.
I would never say that. I lived on the Lower East Side for years. I'd never heard anybody say that. We're going to go to a pizzeria tonight. Who is this cop? Okay. All right. Tori, a chain reaction DEA probe gets everybody asking the question, why is everything still blacked out? Senator Ron Wyden is demanding answers about a long-running DEA investigation referenced in the newly released documents, raising questions about possible drug trafficking, suspicious transfers, and why key details remain heavily redacted. Are the redactions protecting the victims or protecting the powerful people? I said this yesterday in my rant, Tori, about cartels, and that was when the whole Mexico thing, we kind of followed up on that. The U.S. has no interest in stopping the drug wars because a lot of money is generated from that. They then take said money, whether it's from the profits or from the stolen, the retrieved contraband, and they use that as dark money to fund their little projects. And so I don't think that the U.S. wants any information about what's been going on, especially as it has to do with drug trafficking and money, and where is that money, and where are those drugs, and who handled those drugs, and then 100 kilos disappeared. Where did they go? Do you think they want to be answering those questions? I sure don't.
I bet the DEA really stands for don't ever answer.
How about don't even ask? I like that. It's like, why'd you just kick my door in, DEA? Don't even ask.
Don't even ask.
Can I put my shoes on? You heard me. Yeah, I mean, Tori, this is just kind of like the coming of age moment that this country needed. I think you have to remember, we are a young country, 250 years old. And we are one of those countries that still has a very infantilized view of our judicial system, of our government in general, and of the people tasked to perform, legal duties. They're like, our cops are perfect. Our president is facing forward with an eagle on his shoulder. And really, they're just people.
Yeah, right.
And people that are subject to be blackmailed, people that are subject to steal money. I always said this. You ever heard of a retired vice cop from Miami that was broke? You break into a hotel room in 1999 and there's $6 million in cash laying on a bed at the La Quinta. Are you counting that up and returning it? I don't think you are. I don't think you are. So I'm just saying they're people, and that's really what the movie American Gangster was about. Was Russell Crowe's character tried to return some drug money, and the cops in the station are like, all right, remember they weren't returning, like they weren't giving him backup and so anyway, but it was like, it's a thing. The police are people. And so I think hopefully we start to grow up and stop attacking people like me, like you hate law enforcement. What are you, 7?
Right.
We just need to look at it more.
It's just like a little bit more nuanced that. And also, who won the war on drugs? In 3, 2, 1, drugs. It just has never worked. It never has. It never will. And
do you think it was ever meant to? Do you think if you're a person with inside knowledge about the size and the global trade that has been going on with drugs since the beginning of time, people have been moving opium all over the place. What do you think people were sailing around the world for? Salt? Salt
was really important now.
Salt was big because you had to cure meat.
You had to take care of the meat.
Yes, but people have been trying to control Afghanistan for years because of that. We took our shot at it for 20 years. And we did that because we realized that it's a source of ever generating revenue. And there's never going to be a moment where me and Tori are going to come on the show like, guess what, guys? Our first story, no one is getting high anymore. I know. Like, it's not a thing. So we have to start looking at it, like you said, in a more nuanced way. So I just wonder if our eyes, hearts, and brains are ready for what we would read. Because clearly the Epstein thing, I think we're slowly acquiescing to it. But I don't know if people really knew how much corruption goes on in police departments, in whatever situation in which there's people, money, power, drugs, cash, sexuality. There's going to be some shit going down. So we need to grow up and look at that, even though it's going to be pretty gruesome. All right, Tori. Speaking of gruesome, Bill Gates, he's on a little apology tour. All right, Tori. That's what Melinda Gates did when she read some of the redacted files.
Turns out he was not Microsoft.
Yeah. Oh, what, more than anything, there was in the email that Epstein just wrote to himself for blackmail. He says to Bill Gates, you send me an email telling me that I got you the clap, and then go on to describe your penis. And what a square that, like, he didn't know what to do. So he emailed the guy on an island like, my dick is burning right now. Even Epstein, maybe the worst person who's ever walked, was like, dude, go to the Walgreens. What do you want? Buy it and take every pill they got till it works. Like, what are you doing?
Oh my God. Okay, so let me just say something. The idea that he thinks that this would work is laughable. He's like, yes, I had sex with 2 Russian women during my marriage to Melinda Gates, and that's it. And I would like to apologize. We're like, dude, if that is what you're admitting to, that's the G-rated version. Like,
it's the equivalent of like when you get pulled over and the officer is like, have you been drinking? You go, I have 2 beers. I don't know why 2, because 1's not believable. You can't say 3. I had 2 beers. Oh yeah, go ahead. You were talking. Sorry.
No. I was just like this guy doesn't seem to have any kind of thought process as to what the public will actually think. And first of all, to hide it all these years when Melinda Gates was like, come on. And to second, to be like, yes, I did it. I made love and had intercourse with 2 Russian women, that was it, that we think that that's going to be the end is laughable. And look, I don't know if anything is going to happen to Bill Gates, if we all look at him very differently. His children have to grow up with this, but he's a dirty, dirty man. Anyone involved this deeply getting the
we've
clap.
got the emails to prove it.
And we have the emails to prove it. Like this isn't, if you think that's going to cut it, like you're way off, dude. Like how tone deaf are you that you're like, if I admit to this, we're good. And like, I know the Bill Gates Foundation has done a lot. It's cured basically malaria. It has mosquito-borne illnesses. It's taking into account clean water for just dysentery. And like, I appreciate what they've done, but you're a dirty, dirty old man. And
you were saying that to me. I'm scared that somebody's going to cut that and be like, told you guys. Yeah. Tori, you said something and it made me just now, and it made me think about what I heard from this this podcast I listened to about how people launder money. That's what a nerd I am. And he goes, there used to be gangsters who launder money through literal laundromats, strip clubs, anything that accepts cash would be a way to launder money. But when you're laundering large amounts of money, and you made me think about this with the Gates Foundation, he goes, we don't call them gangsters anymore. We call them philanthropists.
I never thought about that.
And he was like, pretty much every charity that you know about is total bullshit.
Wait, I never thought about that the Gates Foundation would be used for that money.
Because what makes more sense? You know what I do, because I spend a lot of time by myself, is I go explain it to an alien. So a person lands, they say, tell me about this Epstein or Bill Gates. He was involved with this really gross guy. He cheated on his wife. He gave her an STD. He was involved with this man for years and years and years. But his foundation was untouchable, impeccable. He would not hear of it. Anybody that's that dirty all the way around doesn't have any part of their life that's like, but that's pristine, that's untouchable. Wow. If you're a dirtbag, your charity scam is going to be BS. Me and Sar started watching Boardwalk Empire last night, which is about prohibition. And it starts off with a guy that's the biggest bootlegger in New Jersey at a women's church event. Hello, ladies. I believe it's like, it's all BS, but you can't.
No, he did solve certain things, I have to be honest, but you're right. This was probably a way to launder money. And I agree with Run for Funds, who says it's too late to apologize about doing business with Epstein. It's way too late for that crap. And to think that this press release
too late
would be okay is, again, it's laughable. That was like, his thought was like, we're good.
Yeah. What do we say about having DEI? Like you need like somebody that's not a corporate PR person. You need somebody that's like been in the streets to be like, that's not gonna fly. No, but this person, I flew in on a private jet. They said, I'm like, I've been in these streets. Bill, that's not. We gotta think of something else.
William Gates, you
gotta go. I gotta hit him with his middle name. That's all right, Tori. Here's something. This is a legal nerd like yourself will love it. Tor, a judge blocks third country deportations, the third country deportations policy as unlawful. A federal judge ruled that DHS policy allowing deportation to third countries. Do you remember what that meant? Like, do you know what that means?
Yeah.
Because I remember hearing about them and I was like, they'd be like, we found an undocumented person in Detroit and we're sending him to Ghana. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's what they're talking about, correct?
Yeah. And not only that, I want to say that justices, including federal justices, this was in the New York Times yesterday, have started to do things that have been unprecedented before, which is they tell the attorneys and make an opinion. You can't deport someone to this country. Okay. Just like you read, that's the headline. Or for instance, yesterday in the New York Times, it said this judge said this man cannot be taken and deported. He was taken to El Paso or El Salvador. I think it was El Paso.
El Salvador. That's where CCOT was.
Yeah, and all of his effects were taken, and the judge said specifically his stuff could not be taken. So she called the attorney in And she said, "What makes me think I shouldn't put you in contempt of court?" Remember, that's the last accountability a judge has. Very rarely used, especially on the attorney.
Right.
And he couldn't answer. And that judge put that attorney in contempt of court. And we're seeing this not once, twice, 3 times, calling Kristi Noem to be in the courtroom. So I want you all in the chat to understand that federal justices who are not being listened to, even a Supreme Court that said they had to bring those plane back, they still sent the plane. They are now using their very last method of enforcement and accountability, and they've never done it before in this way. So attorneys for the government are being held in contempt. That's the only last game and move that they have. That's it. But that's how far we've come, and we're going to start seeing more. And attorneys don't want to be held in contempt. So just know that all of these judges that are blocking things aren't always being listened to, and they know it. So it's very, very, very it's a different world for our justice system in which the judge's orders aren't top of the line taken. That's what happens.
And
So
Tori, not just a judge, a federal judge.
Yep.
Like they do not play. Those are very probably some of the most powerful people in your state. And
oh my God.
And I mean,
court, a federal judge, those are the top of the top.
And to blow off what they're saying, I think that there had to be something that was done, because there's only so long where an administration can get comfortable with blowing off federal orders before you have a full-blown constitutional crisis.
I agree with you, Al, completely.
And there has to be some accountability. And I know there's Trump people like, he's the president. Bro, we have rules in place for a reason.
Yes.
And once you continue to disrespect these rules, and the judges, and they know that they're putting pressure on those judges, like, what are you going to do? You're going to send some federal troops?
And you want to know something, Al? Someone just asked that, Julia, where are the officers that are going to arrest these people? I didn't know this. I found out from the New York Times, which is why newspapers are still good to read, that the U.S. Marshals is underneath the Justice Department, not the executive, not the federal, and that they themselves can be used from judges to go seek out these people and take them in. So the U.S. Marshals is your answer, Julia. Those very well-trained law enforcement officers are under their rule, and they can be taken to go find these people. So the marshals are the ones that would be doing this, which is, I had no idea. That's like taking the Rangers out and finding someone. So good luck with that.
Yeah. And it's like, you're not going to have to go get all of them. People notice trends. And once 2 or 3 people in the mob syndicate start to get snatched up, that's when you start to see a chain reaction, because nobody wants to go down and also be in the history books, which you already are going to be. Tori, this is unbelievable. But yeah. All right. Well, let's get to
Tommy Lee Jones. That's right.
Yeah. Wait, is he a U.S. Marshal? And
I think there was a
Fugitive?
in Fugitive. Remember this line? I didn't kill my wife. What does he say, Al?
I don't care. Yeah.
Great.
Following orders. All right. All right. I can't believe I got that. Tori, let's move on to something, and we cannot move on without fire. Oh, what's up, colleagues? We cannot keep it moving on this show almost every day. If it wasn't for Spider Moving and Storage, they've helped Tori and I. We only get behind people that help us move and help us get buzzed before the show. And shout out to Red Rocks Vodka. But if you're sober and you need to move, do yourself a favor. Let us know that you gave Vlad and those boys a call. They are fantastic. Call Spider Moving and Storage at 720-545-3187. And Tori, we're moving on to some good news. First of all, you saw the women's hockey team won the gold medal. Yes, excited. Did you watch the game?
Yes, and I heard the men's team laughing with Trump about inviting them to the White House, which they declined. Way to go. And they just had a better dinner than McDonald's.
I couldn't believe, when Sar told me that, I was like, I almost got it. I was like, stop lying.
Not only that, they had Italian food with Stanley Tucci. So they had gourmet food with like the king of Italy, and it was like the classiest event. And the other guys were served, chicken McNuggets on Lincoln's like serving tray.
And Tori, it's not like McDonald's where, oh God, I'm starving. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Let me grab some McDonald's. This is McDonald's that has to be, tested for any kind of chemicals, any kind of poisons, anything somebody might be trying to do harm to the president or his friends. And
he's famously worried about being poisoned, by the way.
Right. And so while they're doing that, guess what's happening to the McDonald's? It's starting to suck.
Yeah.
You have a 91-second window to start eating McDonald's in the car immediately. I have never eaten McDonald's in this house. It's insane. McDonald's is so gross.
Your sadness comes like right away, and you're like,
yes,
I got to take this down right away. Yeah, and I do want to give
it's the gift and the curse.
Fresh
out of the window, those fries, can't mess with them.
No, and the crispy Diet Coke as well. I do want to say Flavor Flav, who has always been the Olympic hero, supported a water polo player, by the way, last Olympics, and became the water polo mascot for them. He was like their big cheerleader, He has offered in Vegas to take the girls hockey team that didn't get invited and have this massive party for them in Vegas. And I think what a great guy. And they're going to have so much fun. And what other companies are going to step up and be like, yeah, we want to help. We want to help. We want to help. So just a shout out to Flavor Flav, who I never thought I'd be like, way to be a supporter of like women's sports and athletics in such a strong way. So bravo to him.
Absolutely. Flavor Flav has had such an interesting life, from his open struggles with drug addiction to, being world famous with Public Enemy. And then he really is the godfather of reality shows.
Totally. With Brigitte.
The godfather. With, what was it, Strange Life? What was that called? With
living with loving Flavor Flav. That's how I kind of found out.
Yeah, but that show came from Surreal Life. Remember?
Yes,
that's where he met Bridget Nielsen.
Right.
And then from that meeting, then he got Flavor Loves Bridget or whatever, then that spinoff. And then when that flamed out, he got Flavor of Love, where they brought in 16 new. And that is kind of the format for The Bachelor. Straight up.
Totally.
And so from that, now he is, on the right side of an issue that I think whether they realize it or not, the White House really turned off a lot of Americans, because we don't like to see our political party shit talking our 19-year-old Olympians, no matter how you feel. They were asked a question. What are they supposed to say?
And to have them on record of them all laughing, like what a moment in time that we have on tape of the Trump and the guys in locker room talk laughing at the women who just beat the same Canadian. I mean, they did just as much as the men's, and it's like, what assholes, what jerks. So it's a bad look, and I really hope they have a great time in Vegas.
And I will say this, because, I think it's easy and should be noted, and I believe the men's team should be piled on. But also, you have to remember that these are kids. Those are young guys. And
yeah, but not the president of the United States.
Can you imagine? I mean, first of all, to have your moment taken, I thought it was so, everybody made fun of Cash Patel chugging beers when they won. But this has been part of a greater plan with these nerdy politicians injecting themselves in every part of our life. Oh, do you want to have a beer? If you have a Bud Light, that means you support trans issues, which also cool, yes. But also what? Anything that you touch is now political. You win the World Cup, not the World Cup, you win the gold medal. Now there's some cross-eyed dork in your locker room. He hasn't done any push-ups. He hasn't taken any elbows to the face from, a guy from the Czech Republic. All he's done is taken a publicly paid for jet over, and now he's politicizing your victory. Even if they are Trump supporters or they're not. That's their moment.
I agree with you. And in the midst of the Epstein scandal, when the FBI should be at the height of being alerted to what's going on. And may I say that the visual image of the Epstein survivors sitting in back of the men's hockey team at the State of the Union facing a alleged abuser will be an iconic moment. It's another one of the photographs that you're like, wow, that'll go down in history.
Yeah. I mean, it was such a politicization of, and that's really, let's circle back and finish where we started with the speech, and something that I was like, what is so off-putting about this? It's like, they brought a young girl that had suffered, brain damage because of an undocumented semi-truck driver or something. And it's like, what did that have to do with anything? It's just irresponsible. All these people's lives were just their worst moments. Oh, your son was shot on the corner as a National Guardsman by somebody that had very strange and innocuous ties to this country, which Trump did not want to get into because he was okayed in this country by his administration. That was an employee of a lot of different
CIA.
Yeah, a lot of different regimes. That wasn't no random dude, yo. But anyway, you know who doesn't care about that? His parents. But his parents are now all of a sudden put on a national pedestal to have their pain exploited for political gain. This is what happens when brown people walk around. They shoot your kid in the head. And I just felt like it was so gross. If you want to honor the hockey team, please do. If you wanted to honor both teams, that would be even better. Doesn't seem like it'd even be too hard to do. But their constant need to take things and exploit them, that trans person that then went back to not being trans, and then to show it, the whole thing felt so gross and exploitative to me. And she was like, yeah, her son was shot and he's in the hospital bed, blood was everywhere. It's like, you didn't go.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it really bothers me how people are so transactional with our horrible news at this point that they go, oh, there was a shooting. Who did it? Black guy. Okay, we're good. Let's go live. Who did it? Muslim dude. Okay, cool. Who did it?
Trans guy.
Yeah, trans guy. A white guy that's an incel or something. Okay, we'll go against him. It's like, do you guys stop for 1 second and just be like, a family is totally shattered? Then go exploit them. But do you even have a second of humanity left in you? Like, should I? It's just like, okay, I've noticed, Tori, that if it's a female shooter, we get an 18% bump if she's killed more than 4 people. Hopefully not on a Friday because the numbers are lower. It's just like, what has happened to us?
So you know what it reminds me of? I don't know if you guys know the McCarthy era, where McCarthy was like, did you or were you ever a part of the Communist Party? They were blacklisting people and all this. And finally someone stood up and says, have you no decency, sir? And it's a famous line in politics because some people can go all the way. And I want to shout that so many times when I was just like, have you no decency? And I don't think he does. I really think that there's a clinical, pathological, narcissistic issue in which he doesn't have decency, and he learned from Roy Cohn and Roger Stone how to play the game. And it's just, there's a lack of any kind of decency in this world that we're in. And it's very scary, and it's hard to find the good things. That's why everyone got obsessed with Punch the Monkey. Oh,
yeah. Oh, Tori, I didn't did you see the follow-up story?
Now he has a bodyguard, but they tried to switch out the stuffy, and everyone's like, does anyone at the zoo have children? Like, don't switch out the stuffy. Keep the stuffy. Just wash the stuffy.
Oh, wait, they tried to. Okay, here it is. I meant to I was going to do this on Wednesday and didn't get to it. Okay, this is on TMZ. It says viral stuffed monkey sells out on eBay after going viral. And IKEA plush toy is officially swinging into resale madness because some retailers are asking for serious cash after the retailer sold out. I'm going to try and show. Sorry for the high tech part, guys. Deal with it. We're a family here. Your dad got laid off. All right. So don't get those expectations down for Christmas. It's about family. The frenzy started after viral photos showed Punch, blah, blah, blah. And thank you, Michael Dean.
Michael Dean's so classy.
I prefer mine.
Well, IKEA has now donated a lot more plushies to Punch. But I'm just like, don't change out the plushie. Like, that's important to him. The smell, like, he groomed the plushie. Like, they just went like this with a new plushie and then took the old one away, and he has discarded the new plushie. He does not care for the new plushie.
Well,
And so,
Tori, I care about the money. So I need you to tell me what you think these are going for on eBay, my darling dear.
like, $5K?
Oh, no, just $350. You went really high.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's one of the most sought after toys of the year. And I believe will be one of the biggest Halloween costumes. So we will keep
of
eye out
course.
for that. Yes.
Punching the orangutan, the orangamama tan. No.
How many people do you think are going to go as Pam Bondi?
The Dow's at 50,000. Yeah, that's a good call. That's a really.
I mean, that kind of goes back to what I was thinking about when you were saying like how inhumane and sociopathic some of this administration's moves have been. I was more like also their ability to surround themselves with people that are also like Pam Bondi. She didn't glance back at them survivors. Do you think she drove home and was like, "Oh, I should have"? She was like, "Anyway, is Panera Bread still open?"
And if you go in Halloween and you go with a group of girls behind you, all raising their hand, and you just don't look back at them ever, like what a recreation. But also Kash Patel, like chugging. That's going to be.
Oh yeah, that's going to be Kash Patel and a Bud Light or whatever he was drinking. Yeah, I mean it's I saw something about I read something about America years ago, and I've seen it happen over and over again. And what this person said, it was a black poet, and they said, America takes your anger and it sells it back to you.
I bet that's Baldwin. It sounds like Baldwin.
Probably is. And it's just like you see it everywhere. And I remember like I read that so long ago that I was living in New York at the time, and I saw a t-shirt that said New York effing city. And it's like that used to be like it used to like symbolize like a toughness that you needed to live in the city when it wasn't safe in the early 80s. And they just take it now and sell it to tourists walking around a completely blocked off, completely safe Times Square, which I want it to be. But just like they just sell you the remnants of like what the culture used to be, what people used to be upset about. Remember when it was straight out of Compton, which meant, I'm from one of the worst areas in the country that was done on purpose through redlining and the introduction of drugs and the removal of food. It was a food desert and job desert. And what happened? They started selling t-shirts that said straight out of Vermont.
Straight out of Disney World.
Yeah, straight out of New Hampshire. And it's just like, no, dude, it doesn't make any sense unless you have it, but people don't. They're like, I like the t-shirt. And maybe that's kind of what it was. Last thing, I left the grocery store today and I saw a woman with a Nirvana t-shirt on. And I distinctly got the feeling that she did not know what Nirvana was.
Oh, many people have Nirvana shirts and don't know what they are. It's like the idea of like thrifting and like, but you have no idea what you're wearing. And
it's so interesting. It just turns into fashion for as much as their group was about anti-profit and anti-capitalism. And no matter what, bro, we're going to get you. And with that said, Tori, I'm going to let you go because we got to get ready for trivia tonight. We're doing it in honor of Chris's mama. Colleagues, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you guys riding with us through the days where the chat is down and the day where the chat is up and people are saying some wild stuff.
I know. Some of that stuff is weird. I do want you guys, if you have a mama still left, be blessed. Call her, text her, give her a hug if you're there. We have lost a lot of mamas in our friend group, and it's so important to be so grateful for the one that loves you the most, the mamas. So if you have any, give them a call today, and you're lucky.
All right. And I'll tell C-Dog, go Royals. Good luck to y'all Royals. I'm going to see my Guardians play. I'll give you guys lots of picture updates on spring training. And next year, we're willing it in the universe. Tori's going to go with us.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's going to be so much fun. All right, kids, I love you.